basic OpenGL stroke NGL drawing stuff to start with. So first I'm going to add a camera to my scene, so hash include ngl slash camera.h, and in the protected area here of the class I'm going to brief our camera, and I'm going to add an NGL camera star m camera, so just create a basic camera there. And if we go to our GL window, in the initialized GL we're going to start doing some basic setup just for getting this all going. So first I'm going to create an NGL, so I'm going to have to include this first, so I'm going to hash include NGL slash vector dot h, hash include NGL slash light dot h, hash include NGL slash NGL init, hash include NGL slash VBO primitives, and I'm going to hash include an NGL slash, got light already, what else I want, and material.h. So that's just going to be my basic things, and we'll necessarily have to come back and do some of these a bit later. So first thing we want to do in the initialized GL is to actually initialize the NGL library, and all this does really is, if we're under Linux or Windows, it initializes glue, it loads in all the OpenGL extensions. It will also create an instance of the VBO primitives class to load in all the default primitives such as the teapot, the cube, and all the other platonic solids, very similar to the glut library, only they're now created as VBOs, which makes it more efficient from the point of view of drawing. So NGL init. Now this is a singleton class, so what we do is we create an instance of init equals NGL init instance. So that's going to, if NGL init hasn't been called before, it will create an instance of the NGL init class, which will basically call the init glue and stuff like that. Otherwise, it will return an existing instance. So again, what we're going to do here is just go init pointed to init glue, init pointed to init VBO there. So it's just going to set up our glue and our VBO. This is called once here. This is a singleton class. If it's been instanced before, it will return those things. Next, we are going to create an instance of a camera. So create our camera, and that's going to need some vectors to tell it where to look from and where to look to and which way is up. So NGL vector I, and we will set this to be 2, 2, 2, like that. NGL vector look, and we'll look at the origin like that. In fact, I don't need to do them because they are effectively points. They'll be created as points. NGL vector up, and we'll make Y up like that. Now we're going to create an NGL, M camera equals new NGL camera, and you can see here we've either got a default one or we've got one which takes 3 parameters. So we'll pass in I, look, up, and we want an NGL camera projection, and we're going to make this NGL perspective camera. So that's the camera projection. Now we need to set the camera shape. So m underscore camera pointed to set shape, and again we've got a view angle, aspect ratio, near far, and the type of projection again. So I will set 45, I will set the aspect to be 1024, float of 1024 by 720. I will set the near plane to be 0.1, I'll set the far plane to be 300, and again this is going to be NGL perspective. Now that should run fairly happily, and at present obviously it's not going to do anything, but we should now have a camera looking into our scene ready to go once that's built, and there we go. So obviously now we really need to see something to draw. So in my Paint GL I'm going to do a very simple draw just to test that this is working. So NGL VBO primitives star prim equals NGL VBO primitives instance, because this is another singleton class. Basically it creates a load of data for us once, and there's going to be only one instance of this because we don't want to create multiple instances of the same geometry. And then we'll do print to draw, and as we've initialized this, there should be a teapot ready for us there, and you can see we've drawn something here. Obviously it's all over the place, we haven't loaded any shaders, we haven't set up our drawing correctly or anything else, so we will come back and revisit this in a little while, but we have at least got some geometry there and working. Just to show that, if we just say GL draw, polygon mode, GL front and back, GL line, so we'll draw it as wireframe, and it should give us a better clue as to how it's working. Now currently, although we've created the camera, we haven't loaded the camera's values into the OpenGL drawing pipeline, so all we're getting is the default OpenGL matrix and everything else. What we now need to do is to load in some shaders, set the parameters to the shaders, and get our camera actually working, and that'll be in the next section.